You don't have to. No pressure. Okay, it seems like we are live. Right. Right. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the Umuzi live stream. And welcome especially to our learners in the SAP Educate to Employ program. But we would like to wish you all a happy International Youth Day. This is exactly why we're here, to celebrate International Youth Day with all of you, but also just to get some nuggets of knowledge of nuggets, so one of those, from our lovely speakers who I will be introducing to you very shortly. Thank you so much for joining in. We see you all coming in, and we can all see that you are very excited to join us here. Maybe before I continue, Olajide and Rudy, would you like to wish our lovely learners and community a happy International Youth Day?
Yeah. Happy International Youth Day, everyone. Thank you for joining the session, and we hope to be able to share some thoughts and insights with you that will stay with you for the rest of your lives.
Thanks, Dr. Ajayi. Hey, everyone. Happy International Youth Day. I share that with you from my youthful heart. This gray mustache probably doesn't put me in the youth category, but I assure you that I'm always in your corner. I'm always here to support the next gen. I believe in a great song by the late great Whitney Houston, "The Greatest Love of All." And I believe the children are our future. That's all about the next gen. Teach them well and let them lead the way. And so I think it's incumbent on us to share with you our lived experience and some of the life hacks and work hacks and business hacks and study hacks that we've been through, so that you don't have to pay the school fees that we've paid. So to all of you, happy International Youth Day.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Rudy, you are youth at heart, and that is sufficient. We will accept that. Thank you so much to the both of you for the amazing well wishes to our youth. Happy International Youth Day, everyone. All right, let's get on with the program. So as you can see, we've got our two amazing speakers who are here to just educate us a little bit about their own journeys, how they've gotten to this point, and what we can all learn from that. But before we get there, I just want to make a special welcome to the SAP Educate to Employ community. So those are our lovely learners from all across the world. I know that we've got South Africans here. I know that we've got Nigerians here. I know we've got the Kenyan community, as well as the German community, as well as beyond that, we've got so many people joining in from all over the world. I'd like to welcome the Umuzi and ACN community, as well as external visitors who are visiting us from other places. Right, let's start with some house rules. So I would like for everyone to just use the chats to let us know your name, which city you're in, which country you're in, and if you're learning with us at the moment, what program you're currently on from Umuzi. If you're not learning from us or with us, please feel free to go on to Umuzi.org to see what opportunities are available currently. Right, I'd also like for everyone to feel free to post questions that you might have for our lovely speakers who are joining us here today. And if you relate to anything that a speaker has said, feel free to also use the comment section to just let us know what your thoughts are. And yeah, please feel free to ask questions. All right, I will hand over to Olajide to just give us a brief intro about yourself and your career journey so far.
Okay. So my name is Olajide Ade Ajayi, and you could do Ade for short. I'm the customer support engagement director for business technology platform at SAP. I've been with SAP for 18 years. I'm sure that doesn't make me a youth anymore. So I have a master's degree in computer science from University of Lagos. I also have other professional certifications because I'm a lifelong learner. I believe I believe in continuous learning, continuous personal and professional development. I've worked in various roles at SAP. I've worked before I joined SAP. I worked with so many different organizations, and I have one mantra that I live by, and this I coined by myself, and it's keep preparing yourself for the opportunities that you can't see, because eventually they will come and you will be ready. This is it's been very useful to me, and it's what kept me going in my career journey. Because when you're processing your career or you're going through your career, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. And how have I been able to keep to the mantra that I said I coined for myself? How? You could have all of those ideas. You could say, I want to keep preparing myself for opportunities, but how do you prepare yourself for opportunities? And how are you sure that when the opportunities come, you will be able to recognize them? So the first thing that I used to do, that I always do, is to figure out what I want. You need to dream big and aim very high. In Ireland, I'm a minority, and I could come here, just walk or do whatever life throws at me and say, that's the best that I can get. But I am not that person. I'm one who would dream big and who would aim very high and believe that I could be anything and I could reach any height that I want to reach. So the first thing I do is to figure out what I want. What do I want? And then I set a goal. Okay. And when you set a goal, they say a goal without a plan is a wish. We all have wishes. We want to go to the moon. We want to do all these fantastic things. But if we don't have any plan on how we want to achieve those things and execute on those goals and the plans, we will never achieve them. So what I always do is to set a very clear goal or goals and come up with plans on how I want to achieve the goals, and then execute on the plan and the goals that and I can tell you that I must have reached maybe 50% or more of the goals that I've set, because then you remember I said dream big, aim high. Sometimes you set the goals and you can't reach them yet, but it's work in progress. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. What else do? I cultivate a growth mindset. If you cultivate a growth mindset, you could achieve anything, because it means you believe that every skill and competencies can be learned. That there's nothing that's impossible for you to learn or to achieve. So I embrace and I cultivate and nurture a growth mindset, which means I'm always open to new experiences and I'm always learning, lifelong learning. And when you can learn enough, it's continuous personal and professional development. Because you learn on the streets, you learn in the classroom, you learn at work, you learn everywhere. So be a lifelong learner. Don't believe that you got into a stage where you know everything and you can learn something new. Also, you need to position yourself for an opportunity, because remember, I said keep preparing yourself for opportunities that you can see, because eventually they will come and you'll be ready. But how do you know when they come? You need to network. You need to build relationships. You need to be at the right place at the right time. It's very, very important. And how do you know you're in the right place at the right time? It's because you open your eyes to what's going on around you, you alert to what's going on around you. And when you're new in a job or very early on in your career, always say yes to everything. I know some people may, may say this is not, how can you say yes to everything? Because you're in a state of receiving and you're in a state of growth. So when you say yes to everything, jump into the swimming pool first and then learn how to swim. They say entrepreneurs are those who will jump off a cliff and build a parachute or an aeroplane on the way down. You need to say yes to everything and then figure out what you can do and what you can't do. If you're saying no to everything, you will never be able to find those opportunities because you're shutting the door on certain things that you don't know if you'll be able to do. So by saying yes to everything, it means you're embracing everything and you're meeting different people. You don't know what you're going to learn or who you're going to meet along the line or during the process of saying of that project that you've said yes to. So that's very important. Say yes before you say no. What other things do I do? I trust the process and I celebrate very small wins and as well as big wins. Life is a journey. Your career is a journey. You've started the Educate to Employ program. This is the first step of many steps that are coming. So trust the process. You're going to fail, you're going to stumble, you're going to fall along the way. But with every fall, with every failure, you learn something. And all you do is you keep learning, you keep taking the lessons from the failure and you keep refining it and trying and trying again till you can fail no more. With every failure, you're learning how to succeed because failure has limitation. You could fail to a point where failure will no longer be an option because you've already gone through all the things that will make failure impossible. So trust the process. By trusting the process or continuous preparation of self-improvement, you position yourself for success. Remember, opportunities come to those who are ready for them. So if you trust the process and you're doing the right things and you're celebrating the small wins and you're learning from failure and turning failure to success, you're winning and you're progressing in your career. The final thing that I always remind myself of is that I never settle. So I'll say to you, don't settle, never settle. If you don't settle or you never settle, it means you're resisting the urge to become complacent or you're not settling for something less than you're capable of. Because if you get to a point and you think, oh, I've achieved everything that I think I can achieve, like I said, I'm a minority in Ireland. I could come to Ireland and become. So I worked. As I started with SAP as an engineer, became a senior engineer, became a consultant, became a senior consultant, became a global expert in a particular area, and then moved to a different line of business. I became the technical quality manager, and then I moved on to become a people manager at SAP, and then became the director for customer support engagement director for business technology platform. I could have stopped when I became the global expert. I could say, what more can I be? I am the global expert in the master data for supply chain management at SAP. Isn't that good enough? Why don't I just rest on my oars and just enjoy that? What else can I get? But I decided I want to be a technical quality manager. I want to go on site to safeguard SAP's relationship with our customers and do great work for the customer and great work for SAP. And then I moved into that. I could have stopped at that, but that's not me. I want to keep going. And then when I moved from that to people manager, I could have said to myself, okay, I'm a minority here. Why would I be leading people who are from here? Why don't I just, settle and just be content with what I already have? But that's not me. I always dare to dream. I always dream big and I always aim high. And when I got that, I could have stopped there. But I said, no, I want to be something else. I want to be the customer support engagement director. And I'm in that role now. And that's not the end of me at SAP. I still have bigger dreams. I still have bigger hopes and aspirations that I'm hoping I'll be able to achieve at some point. But what do? I figure out what I need to do. I set my goals, I plan, and I execute on my goals. I cultivate a growth mindset. I position myself for an opportunity, and then I trust the process and I celebrate all the wins, be them small, be them large, be them my very, very tiny. I celebrate all of them. So don't settle and never settle, you know. Even if you're doing well, when you're doing well, you need to be adaptable, you need to be flexible, and you need to have a long term vision of what you can accomplish. And I'm going to leave you with this final nugget. It's a quote by some guy called Jackson Brown. It says, opportunity dances with those who are already on the dance floor. Try get yourself to the dance floor and wait for the opportunity there. Prepare yourself along the way. Get all the skills, all the competencies, all the things that will prepare you for the opportunity when they come or the opportunities when they arrive. Prepare yourself for it, and it will meet you on the dance floor, and you'll be doing salsa and b-boy and whatever kind of dance you know how to do. You'll be doing it with a lot of opportunities right at your doorstep. Thank you so much. Back to you, Rivo.
Wow, that was amazing. Thank you so much, Olajide. I'm so impressed by the richness of your experience. But once again, like you're saying, you can only achieve that over a long time or over a lot of years. So experience matters, it's important, and it teaches us a lot. So thank you so much for sharing that so far. I think a highlight for me, two highlights for me that I've noted down, when you say keep preparing yourself for the opportunities you can't see because they will eventually come. And that could not be truer. I also liked what you said about the importance of being a lifelong learner and never settling, resisting the urge to become complacent. So that is amazing. Thank you so much. I love that you mentioned the fact that you are a minority, where you are living right now in Ireland, but that isn't something that's going to stop you from, or that has stopped you from reaching your personal and professional goals. So congratulations on your life, but also thank you for being so generous with sharing parts of that journey as well.
Thank you
Okay,
so much.
let's move on to Rudy. Please tell us about your journey. What can we learn from
Okay.
you?
Rivo, can I just check? Do I have 5 minutes to introduce myself, or should I be going for a little bit longer?
Please go a little bit longer.
Okay, got you.
Please feel
So,
free.
look, Ajayi, that is just so breathtaking and beautiful. And as you were speaking, I was getting goosebumps. I'm a very emotional guy, and so everything that you've said is in many ways a carbon copy of who I am. And I don't know you, you don't know me. Here we are on this panel, and there's such commonality. So kudos to the team that invited us. Team, I'm not going to repeat what Ajayi said. But I think what I am able to offer is just a slightly different perspective. And maybe I'll start a little bit about who I am, right? So I'm Rudy Abrahams. I'm 49 years old. I'm married to Dorian for 24 years. We've got two kids, Connor and Morgan. They're 20, and my baby is 17 years old. I grew up in an area in Cape Town called Elsie's River. It's a very, very rough area. I grew up very poor. My parents still live next to the airport in Cape Town. And I share that with you because it's a poverty-stricken area. And so I I think immediately one of the things I want to share with you is a word that I've created. I think it's called ambition. It's humility and ambition. And so I took the humility bit and the ambition part and I call it ambition. So I have a lot of ambition as an individual. And I've asked myself many, many times, why do I do what I do? And I had all these altruistic answers that I want to pay it forward to the next gen, and I've been lucky. But the truth be told, team, and I'm going to speak from the bottom of my heart, I work so hard because I fear being financially poor again, because I lived in poverty and I've seen poverty and I know what poverty does to me. Not that I'm materialistic. I'm a big fan of Bob Marley, and Bob Marley talks about richness not in financial terms, but in terms of life terms. So I'm sharing that little bit about myself with you because I don't want you to look at me on this call and say, "Oh, that guy's out there." I'm from very, very humble beginnings, and that is very, very important to me. With that said, let me also go a little bit further and say that I'm not a self-made man and I don't believe in self-made people. None of us get to where we are alone. Um, I didn't get here on my own. I did exactly what Ajayi said. I networked. I got myself to the party. I danced with who's at the party. I've had loads and loads of success, but I've had an equal amount of being beaten down for being brown, for being short, for being from the wrong group. I've had my fair share of discrimination. I continue to have my fair share of inequality, but it's that fuels my fire. I grew up in apartheid South Africa. I grew up in the freedom struggle. I was very involved in politics when I was supposed to be studying. I was taking to the streets to try and, fix the imbalances of the past. And so a lot of my youth was taken away from me. I had to grow up very quickly and, out of my own desires. I don't know where that came from. Maybe that was God working through me. But much to my parents' disappointment, my dad used to tell me, why don't you just get on with your schoolwork and stop this nonsense of protesting and just go and study? And I was out arranging mass rallies. I was out with the community doing community work because for me, I couldn't function normally in an abnormal society. And that's something I carry with me every single day of my life, including today in the 21st century. Sometimes we are often asked to function normally, but our ecosystem is kind of a little bit dysfunctional. So I would say I'm a self proclaimed activist. I am a huge ally for the disenfranchised because I have been disenfranchised. So I understand what that feels like. I have to also bring a quote in. The quote that I live my life by is from Maya Angelou. People will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget the way you made them feel. And so that's how I lead. What have I done? I've been a project manager. I've worked in sales, IT sales. I've worked at the City of Cape Town as the SAP ERP Support Center Director, and I ran a Center of Excellence for a decade. SAP hired me in the Dubai office out of Cape Town, and I was the head of pre-sales. I then got hired into Southeast Asia and moved to Singapore, and I became the head of pre-sales. That became the head of the digital transformation office. I then did that gig for 5 years. I left. I became the head of our Success Factors LOB, the sales leader, covering the Southeast Asia market unit. I did that for 2 years. I jumped out and I was asked to become the president and managing director for SAP Philippines, where I am right now in Manila. But in my heart of hearts, I'm an African and I believe in Ubuntu. And I'm probably not going to be in this role for more than another 2 years. And that's the third point I want to leave with you, is that I've changed jobs very often. I've made my way to the proverbial top of the tree. And then by design, I've demoted myself all the way down to the bottom and I started a new job family. So I've been in technical to the top. I became a technical manager and then I went into sales and I started as a junior account manager and I made my way all the way to a sales manager. Then I fired myself and I said, I want to build things. And I started a project management course and I became the COE director in government for the city of Cape Town. Then I had enough of being a builder and contributing to the young democracy of South Africa by implementing IT for development and IT for higher meaning. And then I joined SAP and I continued to do this roller coaster with my career. At the tender age of 49, I too am a lifelong learner. But I do that because I believe that a rolling stone gathers no moss. And so unlike Ajayi, I'm not clear on what I want. I'm not clear what the game plan is, but I'm very clear on what I don't want. The fourth theme that I'm going to leave with you, the fourth of five themes, is probably what I see and what I do and how I invest in people as a hiring manager now, a global hiring manager who's been blessed by the grace of God, but they're very lucky as well. I've been very lucky in my career. And for me, let me define what luck means. Luck for me is the intersection between opportunity and preparedness. It's not winning a lottery. It's not someone giving you a hand me out. It's very similar to what Ajayi said, but simply put, I need to be prepared at the right time. If I was not prepared, I wouldn't have gotten lucky. If the time was right, but I wasn't prepared, I wouldn't have got lucky. If I was prepared, but the time wasn't right, I wouldn't have gotten lucky. So that for me is the intersection of luck. And I guess something I've always kept near and dear to me, and if anything, this is my gift to all of you today. I firmly believe that hiring managers need to fight for candidates. We all need a big break. We all need someone to take a bet on us. You can be prepared, the time can be right, but you need that someone that says, you know what, Revo, I believe in you. I see something in you that you don't see in yourself. And that is God's work in the making, right? I want to be very clear. The universe will bring that to you. So I practice 4 things as a hiring manager. And I will always choose 2 of these things, right? The 4 things I want to leave with you is you've got to have the right skills. You've got to have the right attitude. You've got to have the right knowledge, and you've got to have the right values. For me, I will always choose attitude and values because skills and knowledge can be learned on the job. Let me very quickly take you through what skills is in my world. Skills is goal setting, time management, reasoning, communication, and interpersonal skills. And that's table stakes. Attitude, for me, is a far more important aspect to carry with you. Attitude is self-motivation, it's self-confidence, it's integrity, it's honesty, it's optimism, it's enthusiasm, it's being cooperative, it's commitment, it's apolitical, and it's loyalty. You can't learn that in a playbook. You can't learn that in university. You can't learn that in any course in life. Only the university of life, adversity, struggle, hardship can teach you that. Then the third topic, knowledge. Knowledge is all about basics, theories, information, facts, figures, descriptions, learning, technical insight that you can learn depending on your IQ, right? And then last but not least, values. Do you have empathy? Are you kind? Do you have courage? Do you take accountability for your actions? Do you have gratitude? Are you humble? Are you adaptable? Do you believe in team over yourself? Ubuntu. I am because we are. Are you authentic and are you balanced? And team, in conclusion, I think that's why I've gotten lucky in my life with my career. And that's why I love life so much. And I love paying it forward and building the next year, because I completely own my values and my attitude. And I make sure that I'm never too heady about it. And I make sure that that ambition is there. And I think with that, Revo and Ajay, that's kind of my life hack, secret source, if you will. And here's the fun fact: it's not mine. Anyone that I encounter, I get my light and I get my happiness with people around me shining. There's a song by Lizzo: "If I'm shining, everybody's gonna shine." I love that lyric in that song, because for me, that's what humanity is about. Humanity is about making sure that we radiate energy and empower our brothers and sisters. Last but not least, team, make no mistake, I'm not a pushover. I'm a very hard businessman. There's certain fundamentals that we still have to do. So I'm a very nice guy. I'm very soft on people, but I'm exceptionally hard on results, output, outcome, and doing what is right. So I'm a good balance between making sure that we drive the business results, but I'm an equally good balance in making sure that people are at the center of everything that we do. Revo, I hope I haven't spoken too much, but I'm very passionate about this topic, and listening to Ajay just, lit a flame inside of me. He was so inspirational.
Oh no, you have spoken perfectly, 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 perfectly. Just like Natalie is saying, that is a very inspiring journey. You both have extremely inspiring journey. So thank you so much, Rudy, for sharing that. If being a president and country managing director of SAP Philippines doesn't work out for you, you can always go into singing, because we just heard a little bit of your voice. All right. Just on a serious note, just to reflect on what you've said. Wow, so many nuggets, so many nuggets. But what I've noted down here is when you said, I work so hard because I fear being poor again. And that is really, really an important thing to say. Just like you say, a lot of people will say, I'm self-made, I did this, I love this, I love that. But at the core of being marginalized, something I've learned from conversations such as these ones, or reading about people who come from really, really difficult backgrounds, is that fear remains with you because you know exactly what it's like. And so we work and work and work to make sure that we never go back there. So thank you for mentioning that. It's an extremely important part of the conversation, from where a person comes from leading up to where they are trying to go. I also love what you said, when you mentioned that you've changed jobs many, many times, and I get the impression that you are not fearful of starting from scratch. It seems to me like you've tried this and then said, nope, actually I want something new, but without that fear of starting from the bottom again. And that, I think, is very important for all of us to note as we grow and try to become more in our careers. And I think another very important highlight I heard is when you said that hiring managers need to fight for candidates. A lot of the learners in this program are reaching the end of the program and are going to be heading to placement opportunities, which we are hoping will be made available through the SAP ecosystem. And so we need hiring managers. We actually need hiring managers to say, okay, we've got these young people. They are bright. They are excited. They are willing to work for it. And here they are now ready for opportunities and to be provided with those opportunities, because learning is great and all, but it's also important that all of that knowledge is applied somewhere. So thank you very much for mentioning that, that hiring managers do have a responsibility. Everyone actually has a responsibility to help people get to the next level, to help people become employable and get them into employment opportunities. So wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. I think we'll talk some more as we go into the theme of today's chat, but I just want to go through some of the comments here. There are so many people from so many countries that have joined us. Thank you to all of you for making the time. We've got Sarah from the Umuzi community. She's based in South Africa, and she works for Umuzi and the African Coding network. We've got a comment from Caroline Wanjiku. And Caroline says, my name is Caroline, and I am from Nairobi in Kenya. I heard someone actually speak about nyama choma. I'm yet to find out what that is, but I hear it's a very, very delicious delicacy straight out of Kenya. Then we've got Akin Lalure Daniel, who is from Lagos in Nigeria. And they are a developer associate learner in our SAP Educate to Employ program. We have got, let's just look for one more person from another country. This is so, so exciting. I think it speaks to the reach of this program. It speaks to the reach of just this initiative that we get to be part of. Right, we've got Tandi Wimfana, who is in the SAP Educate to Employ program on Block 3 and is in the logistics stream. Thank you to each and every one of you for joining. Oh, Patamedi is here. Patamedi is also part of the Umuzi alumni community and staff alumni community, and he's based in the UK and is a business consultant. Thank you so, so much for joining in the chat. We're so excited to have all of you. Please feel free to add more comments, ask questions to our lovely speakers as they talk more to us. Right, let's get down to business. Like Rudy said, he's a hard businessman. So, let's get down to it. Right, so the theme for today's Fireside Chat is From Clicks to Progress, Youth Digital Pathways for Sustainable Development. Sustainability is such a massive part of everything that we do in the world, everything that all of us need to do in the world. It's great to produce results or to try and live the right way, but if it's not sustainable, it doesn't really help anyone. And if we bring it to the SAP Educate to Employ program, which is a comprehensive learning to earning program that has been designed to equip marginalized youth with the skills necessary for the digital economy, we need to think about how we get young people these placement opportunities, these work opportunities, and whether these are sustainable enough to create a lasting impact in the lives of these learners, as well as the lives of their communities. So I do want to pick your brains, our lovely speakers, on how we make it possible for young people to have sustainable jobs in the digital economy. I think I'll start with you, Olajide. What are your thoughts on this theme for today? From clicks to progress, youth digital pathways for sustainable development.
Yeah, thank you so much, Rivo. And thank you so much, Rudy, for the nuggets that you shared. You said something that resonates with me. You said you get lucky when you try. Okay. I have the saying where I say, the harder you try, the luckier you get. For maybe a good place to start would be to talk about sustainable development in a broader perspective. What is sustainable development? It's for me, for sustainable development is an approach to growth and human development, which aims to meet the need of the present and without compromising the future. Okay. And we also need to look at the social, we need to look at the economic, and we look at the environment, as well as a whole body, if you're talking about sustainable development. Now, you asked the question in relation to the Educate to Employ, how do we get people into employment? And how do we make it sustainable? And I think Rudy also said that we need hiring managers to take a bet, to take a chance on some of these guys. But then they need to prepare themselves and be ready to take the opportunity when it presents. So we need to look at it from different angles. So for me, we need to continue to look at the ecosystem, the SAP ecosystem. How do we make this program sustainable? We're going to be training a lot of youth. And it's demand driven, how many organizations will be able to take how many people. But when those people are not able to get into, or we don't have enough organizations to take all of the people that we've trained, what do we do with them? Can we start to prepare them in a way that if the job doesn't exist, they could create something? Can we start to look at that as part of the sustainability plan? Because what we're trying to do is we're trying to create social, economic, stabilization for these young people, while also not overlooking the environment. Could we start to prepare them in a way that they could fit anywhere else outside of the SAP ecosystem and maybe come back into the ecosystem at some point? So, like I said, for me, the sustainable development is all about, the aim is to have a society where living conditions and resources meet human needs without undermining the planetary integrity. So, do we prepare them to be able to do something that will enable them to be able to have sustenance living without being in the SAP ecosystem? So these are thoughts that are coming into my mind. If I say I have a golden bullet on how we can fix that, I don't. But I know there's so many ways we could start to prepare this student. I really like the model of the educator employ. It doesn't only focus on technical skills. It focuses on soft skills as well as technical skills, meaning you're preparing them for life, meaning irrespective of where they end up, they're going to have the skills and competencies that will prepare them, that will make them survive and make them thrive. So I think the program is already being built in a sustainable way, where these guys are given the skills that would stay with them for the rest of their lives, and that they could apply to anything that they put their mind to. So, I don't know, maybe Abraham, you have a different perspective on how you see us
Yeah.
sustaining this, but I think we're already planning it in a very good way. I think the person who's leading the program, that's Eugene Ho, is a visionary, and he has very clear goals on where he wants to take this. And I really like the first presentation he gave to me when he was doing, when he was trying to onboard me into the program, and he showed me the different paths where you go, the social part, the non-technical part first. You go through that pathway for a couple of months or a couple of weeks, and then progress to the next stage, which is the technical. The technical you could teach, but the skills and competencies that you learn from the soft part is what really interests me, and that's what would make the difference for all of these young learners.
Yeah, thanks, Ajay. And Revo, I put my timer on. I'll try and limit my response to 5 minutes. Look, I think it's a big question. I think it's a complex question. And there is no silver bullet. This is a balancing act, and we're juggling so many things. So to come up with the cheat code around how we fix it, I don't have that answer. But I am going to be a little bit controversial in the next 3 minutes. Maybe not controversial, provocative is a better word. I want to provoke our audience a little bit. So a lot of what I may say represents my personal views and doesn't necessarily represent that of SAP. Let me put that disclaimer out there. I think for me, I've always felt that there's three kinds of people in the organization or in the world. There's those people that say, let's make things happen. There's those people that say, let's watch things happen. And there's those people that say, what happened? And I think for me, I want to be very straight and very open and very honest. It's a race. There are graduates with 4 PhDs out of China. out of India, out of US, out of Europe, maybe even Africa, where I'm from. The race is on. There's a global recess at the moment. Tech organizations are, in shrink mode. The markets are volatile. The economic headwinds are there. The Gini coefficient between the haves and the don't haves continue to grow. Inequality is continuing to climb. Most developing economies, the middle class is getting a little more affluent. So it's not all doom and gloom. There's climate change. So there's a lot going on, and the world is very precarious. There is so many wars happening right now. So we're not immune to the macroeconomics that's happening in our society, let alone the microeconomics and the hardship of unemployment. But if I were to perhaps just stimulate the conversation a little bit, I would probably think along 5 themes. I think first and foremostly, we have to encourage entrepreneurship. I think when you're young and you don't necessarily have family and obligations and children and school fees, perhaps you got a little more of appetite for risk. And so you can take a little bit more risk than I can take right now. So entrepreneurship, we need to encourage that a little bit more. Get the qualification. Don't think about, I'll get my qualification and I'm going to have a job for life. Because roles that exist today didn't exist 5 years ago. The advent of AI is an absolute game changer. And I'm not drinking the AI Kool-Aid, but I honestly believe that those that have the ability to work side by side with AI, particularly the entrepreneurial space, will have a cutting edge. So having ambition is not losing sight of your ambition. You have to be a cut above the rest. So take care of yourself first. I think the second thing, and maybe closer to home, is that we as big corporates, small, medium enterprises, we must create learning opportunities. COVID has robbed the youth of so much more because all of a sudden the youth qualified, we were stuck indoors for 2 years and we didn't get an opportunity to go out and build our skills. And now the youth is paying that price. We went back to work, we worked remotely, but it's taken 2 more years out of the life of a poor graduate. So COVID has been brutal. And as organizations, you're spot on. The program Ajayi that Eugene preaches is one of the kindest, smartest people I've met. Is about giving opportunities, giving on-the-job training, and taking big bets. If an industrial psych student comes, but they've got the right values and the right attitude, give them an opportunity to do the rotation. Even if you can't land a job, we've got access to an ecosystem. So you might not get employed at SAP, but we've got 25,000 partners globally. We have to find a space and opportunity for you. The third point is this very platform. I didn't know most of you, but at least I have 2 more friends now, Revo and Ajayi, and all of you in the chat. So reach out to me, get in touch with me. I can't promise you a job, but I can promise you allyship. I can promise you sponsorship. I can promise you perhaps a Saturday conversation. I will talk a little bit about a career, what you think, what I think, what I would do. So I can offer that pro bono coaching to you. I think 2 more things maybe 3 more things. I think cross-generational mentorship is very important. I love reverse mentorship. I will mentor in all of my goodness based on my career, but I also want to be mentored on the next generation capability. Gig work, I'll get to a point where perhaps I'm not as relevant anymore. And I would want to reinvent myself, reinvent my skills. So I think having the ability to have this cross-generational mentorship is important. And let's be very clear, team. Gen Z is now coming to the boardroom. The decision making amongst the C band is becoming younger. Boards are becoming more diverse. It's not the constitution of the boards we used to see in the past. And that in itself is going to spawn an opportunity of creativity. So stay close to your network, as Ajayi said. Stay close to your coach, to your mentor. I know that today, the person that's 2 levels down from me could very well be my boss in the next year, right? Could be 20 years younger than me. We're living in that world right now. So don't judge that out. I think we've got to break the cycle of no job experience cycle. The recruiter get the hiring manager. if you don't have the experience, we can't put our job description that says must have 7 years of experience in finance and an MBA and so on and so forth. For heaven's sake, man, we're 23 years old. At 23 years old, I had no idea what I wanted to do with my life, let alone have a master's and 7 years of experience. So we've got to break that cycle. And that comes again to business leaders. Now, I'm not suggesting that we take pilots that haven't finished flight school and give them an opportunity. Certain roles need you to finish that qualification. There are other roles that lend itself to a little more ambiguity, and we can take a big bet or a risk. I think probably the last item I want to raise is providing the right support. I'm an IT guy. I probably can talk largely about leadership at a very broad level, but I can't talk about leadership in an operating theater with surgeons and doctors. I can talk esoterical about it. So I would be the last person to talk to a medical student about leadership in a hospital. But I can speak at length about leadership in a tech organization or in the public sector. So where you get your advice from and who you take your advice from is critical to your own development. So to the question then, Revo, from clicks to progress, youth digital pathways for sustainable development. I haven't answered your question 100%, but I have given you perhaps a provocative sense of what we need to be doing as industry, and likewise, how the youth have to show up and ask for access to the opportunity and have the confidence and the conviction to say to hiring managers, to say to business owners, take a bet on me, these are the values and the attitudes I have, and not just dangle the PhD certificate from the university and say I've done the academic mental gymnastics. You know, don't be afraid to ask. Someone might just say yes.
Wow.
Up to you, Riva.
Thank you. Whew. Wow. Thank you so much, Rudy and Olajide. Those are extremely important points. And I love that you both echo each other in very different ways. But I think the number one point that you both gave is just encouraging entrepreneurship, looking beyond the ecosystem, having skills for life, those values, those attitudes, beyond your qualifications, going beyond your qualifications to get yourself to the next level. And once again, you are not just putting the responsibility of getting these amazing opportunities on the learners or on young people, on youth. You're also putting it on hiring managers. You're putting it on corporates to create opportunities like these, like the E2E program. So thank you so much for your thoughts there. So many things to think about. We've got some comments from learners and the community members on here. Doing life with Mrs. N says, we need to start thinking in that mindset. We need to learn to build from scratch and see our initiatives through. I take it this is someone who is learning in the E2E program and just encouraging fellow learners to keep going, keep learning, keep looking for opportunities, and let's put the first bet should be on yourself actually, so that you can get to the next place. Ayodeji says, wow, we have one more mentor to our side. Please, Umuzi, Rudy, just volunteer to be our mentor. Rudy, you might not know this, but we do have a mentorship program that is Rudy and Olajide, sorry. We do have a mentorship program that we started about 2 weeks ago, where we have SAP leaders, partners, and staff members who are mentoring learners, providing that holistic mentorship that speaks more to the learners having, improving their values, having those soft skills that only a Rudy would be able to share, that only other leaders would be able to share. So if you are both keen to mentor some learners, please feel free to let me know, and I will match you to some of the learners that we have who still need a mentor. But thank you for
please,
this as well. This is really, really great. Just
please, I encourage
yes, so Olajide.
I encourage any of the participants to connect with me on LinkedIn, and feel free to reach out to me Frida already spoke to me about the mentorship. I put my hand up. I'll be more than happy to
Yes.
support. Feel free to reach out. Let's talk about your career. Let me give you deeper insights into how I was able to navigate my career. What were the challenges that I encountered? How was I able to surmount some of those challenges? Are there still goals that I have? Are there still visions that I have? Are there still things that I want to accomplish? Let's talk about them, and let's talk about yours as well. Another interesting thing is I have a postgraduate diploma in innovation in social enterprise. So for any one of you who's looking to go into entrepreneurship, I'll be more than happy to give you guidance on, what framework you need to look at, what things you need to consider, what are the strategic blind spots you're likely to fall into if you're not looking at them from the get-go. Please reach out to me. I'll be more than happy to support. Back to you, Riva.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you to the both of you. Thanks. Thank you for your commitment. Right. I'm just gonna go through a few more comments. We've got Jade who says, "Who and where you take your advice from is critical to your development," and that is extremely true. That is being echoed by Bloom Nature. And then we've got Ayodeji saying, "Let Ajayi also join our mentorship program. We need a Nigerian among the mentors." That is, yes, he has already put his hand up, so sorted. We're good. We're good. Right. Thank you so much for all of the comments. Please keep them coming. And please feel free to ask further questions based on what our lovely speakers have been saying so far. Okay, I'm just going to move on as we wrap up this conversation and ask the both of you one last question. You are both very busy people. And so I think something that I'm interested and curious to find out is how you spend some time relaxing, what you do for fun when you're not in serious conversations or serious hardcore business meetings having to make difficult decisions. Maybe Rudy, you could go first.
Well, it's nearly 9 o'clock at night where I am, so it'll be very obvious to say that a lot of fun I get is from this kind of thing. It's about learning and it's about sharing and connecting. So I had a choice between jump on my bicycle, take a walk, or wear shorts and a jacket and come onto this call. So I love filling my mind with intellect. I love creating relationships and connections. I'm a lifelong learner, and so the more people I can connect, the better. On the more fun side of things, I'm a biker. I'm a runner. I love playing golf. I do a lot of reading. And at the moment, I'm watching The Bear, which is a fantastic series. I think it's on Disney. So I sometimes binge watch. A fun fact about myself is that when I fly, I watch these rom-coms and then I cry on the plane. Then these old ladies that sit next to me say, "My boy, are you okay?" And they wipe the tears down my face. And so I get a lot of learning from movies. I really do. My preferred way of learning is not from textbooks, but from YouTube or from learning, watching a movie. And so I immerse myself in that. And then last but not least, with two grown men, I call them grown men, a 20-year-old and a 17-year-old, I have to learn things like MMA because he's into MMA, the other one is into music production. So I keep up to date with the latest tech trends through my children. And then last but not least, my wife is an impeccable cook. And so I spend a lot of time with her in the kitchen cooking. And because we live in Southeast Asia, where it's mostly Asian cuisine, we cook a whole lot of South African dishes. Chakalaka, pap and vleis, we braai, we have potjie. So I'm a homebody. I'm
Oh,
at home most of the time. Back to you, Riva or Frida.
Rudy, it's 3 p.m. here and I am salivating. I'm salivating at the thought of chakalaka and boiki. Ooh. Delicious. Thank you. What are you reading
Oh,
right
wonderful.
now? What are you
I'm
currently
reading
reading?
two things. I'm reading two books. The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Poop Poop Poop. It's a four-letter word. And the other book I'm reading is The Courage to Be Disliked by a Japanese author. And then last but not least, I'm reading an autobiography by Satya Nadella from Microsoft called Heat Refresh. Satya is one of my people I completely admire and so fascinating about his life. So I have three books at my bedside table, and I pick up a book from time to time. I never get sucked into one book.
Mm. Amazing. Thank you. Thank you so much, Rudy. Thank you for
You're
that.
welcome.
If
You're
anyone
welcome.
relates to any of the hobbies, if there's anyone who relates to any of the hobbies and activities Rudy has described, please feel free to let us know in the comments. You might have something in common, some biking, some cooking, some reading. Let us know, guys. And
River, River,
Olajide, what do
River,
you do for
River. Can I?
fun and to
Oh,
relax?
sorry.
Oh, please go ahead, Rudy.
Sorry. I just wanted to very quickly, just for 2 minutes. I think there's Miss N asked a beautiful question. How does one manage family
Okay.
and learning new skills and applying the skills? 24 hours is not enough. I think it's a wonderful question. I know this is going to sound really crazy, but I color code my calendar. I make time for family. I make time for exercise, for work, for church. If I don't do that, I'll never get to all the systems in my life. So it's a little bit over the top. My wife doesn't take offense anymore, but she knows that if she wants to spend time with me, she has to put it in the calendar. I don't get a thrill out of telling you that, but if I don't structure my time like that, then I won't get to balance it. And then last but not least, the things that I need to do for myself very rarely happens after 9 and 6 during the day. I either have to get up at 4:05 in the morning when everyone is asleep and do my passions in that 2 hours at 4 or 5. And it's a very deliberate reality, because if I don't, I would have one of these systems fail me. And the one thing I refuse to compromise on is my family, my mental health, and my spirituality. If those three things are intact, then everything else will work in my world. Just wanted to add my perspective on that.
Thanks.
Mm.
Thanks, Rudy.
Oh, thank you. That's a very good question and a great answer. Thank you so much. We will all now be color coding our calendars because 24 hours are really not enough, actually. So time management helps. All
It does.
right,
It does.
Olajide, over to you. Let
All
us
right.
know what
So,
you
fun
think.
facts. I have a couple of them. But the main thing that keeps me going is when I was young, my father used to say, always remember that you're in this world to do good to others. What the others are here for, don't worry. Okay? Remember your purpose. So I was connected with purpose from a very young age, that it's others first and self last. You need to do good to others. And fun fact, what do I do for fun? I play chess, I play Scrabble. I play this competitively because very competitive in nature, and I like the feeling of you know trying to win. I don't win all the time. I lose sometimes. I win sometimes. When I win, I have that adrenaline pumping, and when I lose, I go back to learn again because it gets me in that mood of learning. Remember one thing you're going to take away, all of you, is that I keep repeating it. I'm a lifelong learner. I love learning something new every day. So playing chess, playing Scrabble competitively helps to get me in that mood where I keep learning. I keep looking at different positions on the board. I have a board in my room here, not too far away from me, where I just play solitary chess. And another fun fact is I've played multiple number of people at the same time. I've played blindfold chess where I'm not looking at the board. I have all, I can memorize all the board, the positioning on the board, and play with my back to the board and still be able to do okay. So I like anything strategic because Scrabble and chess are strategy games. They're not games for fun. They're games that you play to learn about strategy or to fine tune or keep honing your strategic skills and strategic thinking. So what else do? I love reading. The last book that I read that I'm going to, ask all of you to read, if you can find it, is called Atomic Habits. It's a very, very good book. It helps you to form a very good habit and be able to stay with the habit for as long as you need to. So yeah, how do I balance family and work? Yeah, similar to Rudy, family first. I have two young kids. I call them young, but they think they're not young anymore. My first son is 23. He's a pharmacist. My second child is a girl. She's 21. She's a psychologist. She just completed a master's in psychology. And I make time for both of them. They, they, they take precedence in most of the things that I do. And I have a lovely wife who I dote on as well, who has helped me to raise two great kids while I spent a lot of my time, advancing my career. She was advancing her career alongside, but I think women kind of have a better way of juggling both the home and and their work life. So she was able to do a great job with the kids, and I was able to also play my part in that. So family first. Mental health is very important. You need to also find time to me time. So every day I have 30 minutes to 1 hour that I dedicate to just sitting down in on this couch that I'm sitting, talking to you, recline, and just don't think about anything. Keep a blank mind and reset. Think about how my day went. Think about what I'm going to do another time or tomorrow or next week, and just do. Or it's called reflection. You need to do that regularly. You need to reflect on how your day went. You need to reflect on how your project went. You need to reflect on your life. Am I happy with where I'm at? Or do I have a few things that I need to fix in my life? And all of those things. So it's very good for your mental health. You need to have your me time, which is your private time to commune with yourself and connect with your environment, be present, and think about what's going on with you and reset. So that's pretty much it. Sorry that I took a bit of time. Back to you, River.
Oh, no, not even. Thank you. Thank you so much, Olajide. Those are really great points. Thank you so much for sharing. I love that you're both avid readers and family men and just doing the things, and that you both prioritize you time, which is super, super important. Thank you for that. Thank you so much to all the comments from everyone. I'm just going to wrap up and then I'll hand it over to Frida for final thank yous and then we'll close this session. But I just want to remind all the learners, all community members here that we should all remember our purpose. Every single day, every single step that we take should lead us to what it is we know in our heart of hearts we are supposed to be doing. Any little step you take today is going to take you towards the direction you're supposed to be in. And to make use of every single opportunity that we have. everyone who's managed to come to this chat has done exactly that, and so many other things while on this program. Thank you for making the time to come and listen. Thank you for making the time to engage, and for just making great use of this opportunity. And thank you for allowing me to host this session. Thank you so much, Olajide and Rudy, for talking to me and talking to the community as well. I love this and I learned a lot, and I have made notes for myself as well as I progress on my journey. So thank you. Over to you, Frida.
Thank you, Rivo, and hello, everyone. My name is Frida, to those who don't know me. And I would like to take this moment to express our heartfelt gratitude and thanks to our speakers, Mr. Olajide and Rudy, for contributing to the success of this event. We really would like to extend a sincere gratitude and for enriching us with your knowledge. And I love to call this pearls of wisdom and nuggets of wisdom. And what I've learned is that both Olajide and Rudy have echoed each other and shared similar sentiments around the importance of goals and cultivating a growth mindset, which I think all of us here, and especially our learner community, can really learn from and tap into in their young lives. And they also emphasize the importance of networking. And I believe it's something that we talk about a lot here at Umuzi and the ACN community. And secondly, on my side, which I think is very important and I'd like to also emphasize, is that the importance, well, together with the importance of lifelong learning, they talked about sustainable development, which is a topic that we don't really talk about a lot, but I think it's getting more and more important, and how the learners need to equip themselves not only in the hard skills, but the soft skills of being conscious about sustainability in the long term, not just for now, but really in the long term, and encouraging flexibility and agility. I think that's something Rudy talked about. So with that, we've learned a lot. I would really love to thank Eugene and Nonkululeko from SAP for doing the hard work and working tirelessly to make this day and this event a possibility. Also thanking the team at Umuzi, working behind the scenes to make this a success. Thanking all of our learners and everyone who's on the call. I will not mention all of you, but thank you so much for joining us. And we look forward to more of this in the future. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Frida. Thank you, Rudy. Thank Rivo. And bye, everyone. Happy International Youth Day.
Thanks, everyone. Have a good day and happy International Youth Day, and stay in touch. God bless you all. Bye now.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.